Hello, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of No More Kids in Scientology. Um, for those of you who are following us from Nora's live, um, we'll be talking more about that. But today, I wanted to go over um, some evidence that we actually found, you guys. Hello, Amanda. What's up, Kara? Some evidence that we found about we've been doing a very big deep dive into Lisa. As all of you know, we've been reviewing her heartbreaking memoir, and we are advocating for no more kids in Scientology. And while we continue to look into her situation, we are finding a lot of things that are actual corroborations of the evidence for what we've been contextualizing that was kept out of her story, all of the Scientology context and background, and how that played such a big part to her breaking down. As we know, no one is equipped as a human to be dealing with gaslighting 24/7, 365. It's really just that simple. So, yes, Lisa was extremely capable of, you know, like everybody says, she was very tough, but she could never really come up for air because the surveillance operation that was being run on her was truly a 24/7 situation, you guys. And this is a photo that Riley uploaded. And here you see a very young Lisa. We were supposed to be covering this today, reacting to this chapter where she starts to meet Danny Keogh, the father of Riley and Ben. But this is what really almost like I couldn't believe it. And I'm sure that Riley probably will get into ethics trouble for releasing this type of evidence because right here in black, you see Karen Hollander, you guys. Karen Hollander is a Scientology handler. It's a woman that's been handling, has been getting sent to handle the Scientology celebrities. So here they are at a very intimate, private gathering. And there it is, you know, the Scientology handler are everywhere, literally behind the scenes. Literally, why would you just have some random lady at your house at the party of your child? So it really speaks to what we are denouncing, which is the erosion of common sense boundaries by the Scientology handlers. So, the tragic invasion of Lisa Marie Presley's privacy by her Scientology handlers, AKA the President's Office. That's what they call themselves, you guys. The President's Office. Celebrity Center International Scientology Manor Hotel, where now you guys all know that Priscilla Presley dumped Lisa there, as she says in her own words, crying and squealing at 17. Where Lisa went on a, I think I threw out that posted, you guys, but oh no, here it is. Where Lisa went on a this type of bender for 4 days when she was inside of that hotel. As we already covered, Lisa discusses in her book what type of religious hotel allows for an underage child to have this type of vendor for 4 days. Really do ask yourself that question. Lisa Marie Presley's life was anything but private, not just because of her famous lineage, but because Scientology's relentless need to control, surveil, and invade. Her personal photos, even the most intimate snapshots that should have been hers alone, are evidence of the calculated erosion of her personal boundaries. In one such photo, as you guys can see right here, we see Karen Hollander, a high ranking Scientology operative, seamlessly inserted into Lisa's life under the guise of helping her. Hollander, like many Scientology handlers, was installed by the organization to keep Lisa under constant surveillance while masquerading as a loyal friend. So that's really pretty much what they tell you in there, you guys, that as long as someone is a Scientologist, they're supposed to be your friend. You're supposed to trust them. Like, there's supposed to be no red flags that you ever look for. So really kind of like let that sink in for a second. Like, in what world is a person being told that any old person that this hotel sticks on you is supposed to be someone you can trust unequivocally? Yeah, Carrie. Um, Lisa was another kid that grew up in Scientology. Lisa was exposed to Scientology as soon as Priscilla got in. She shared that with Lisa right away. And she was allegedly around 11 years old when she first kind of got started. But she was then later dumped there by her mom, Priscilla, at the Celebrity Center at 17. At 17 years old. So Hollander, like many Scientology handlers, was installed by the organization to keep Lisa under constant surveillance while masquerading as a loyal friend. For Lisa, support from Scientology came with a price. Hollander and others like her didn't just provide friendship, because Hollander is just who we are actually able to find a photo of to show you guys. But this woman was not Lisa's only handler. Just let's make sure that that's actually very, very clear. Because these people had Mary Vogeting, which was the handler that Debbie Cook stuck on Lisa later on. Once Lisa came to the Scientology hotel in Clearwater, she was given another handler that wasn't anymore Karen Hollander. I think Karen Hollander was probably managing Lisa here in Los Angeles, but then Lisa did travel over to Clearwater, Florida, where Mary Vogeting, this woman, I mean, it was Mary Vogeting, Mary Price. The woman got married like 5, 6 times, you guys. The woman literally would go through husbands, one after the other. So that woman, Mary, was then Lisa's handler. And she was also installed into Riley's life, into Ben's life, into the whole orbit. And Mary was the one that was sending people to be like, oh, Lisa, you should really hire this one as your babysitter. Like, what type of religion is telling another person to hire someone as a babysitter? What type of religious activity is that? Because that's what you really have to ask yourself with all of these pitches that, oh, Scientology is like a religion. It's just a religion. What type of religion is hiring babysitters for celebrities? We would love to hear what type of other religion does that. Hollanders, like others, didn't just provide friendship, they provided Scientology approved friendship, which meant being the eyes and ears of the organization in every corner of Lisa's innermost private world. Handlers like Karen Hollander were sent in to blur the lines between personal and organizational loyalty, always there to influence, manipulate, and keep tabs. They ingratiated themselves by being helpful, performing tasks for free. But what may have been looked like generosity was in reality a means of ensuring control. Going back to how it works, you guys. Oh, what do you need help with, Lisa? Oh, you need help getting a party together? Oh, okay, let's handle that for you. Like something that has nothing to do with anything, they'll start trying to make themselves helpful so they can really create the codependency. Remember, the celebrities get treated as if they're children, as if they're just complete bamboozling idiots that cannot think for themselves, that cannot raise their hand to do anything for themselves. Like, and for them, they're like, oh, yeah, this person's really hooking me up with all this free stuff. Oh, they're really here to hear all my problems all the time. But number one, only people like Lisa would be getting this type of individual Scientology for free handler. Only people like how we covered Becky Minkoff yesterday. Only people like her that are the multi millionaires get access to the free slaves of the president's office that get given to them because of their so-called status. And again, because they're bringing so many people, because they're influencing people to come into the Scientology hotel, they're provided with all of these manipulative services that are not ever in the best interest of whoever the hell is getting really serviced by Karen Hollander, Mary Bogading, Debbie Cook's husband, Wayne Wam, I don't forget his last name, Baumgarten or something. Debbie Cook's husband was also part of the president's office, was also part of handling Lisa Marie Presley, was also part of handling Riley, handling Ben. Her kids were turned over to these handlers. And it's not like Lisa could say a lot, you guys. And she did shield them as much as she could, but not enough because she did end up exposing them, thinking she was doing the best for them, but not really. Scientology handlers are trained to appear indispensable, acting as life coaches, spiritual guides, and friends, but it's all a facade of bait and switch type model of operation. Their true purpose is to keep people like Lisa Marie tethered to Scientology, always under the watchful eye of the organization to wield undue influence. Imagine living under such invasive conditions where even your closest relationships are being carefully curated by an organization that expects complete and utter submission, even against your own best interest. Lisa never had the basic right to privacy because Scientology handlers never let her forget that she was constantly being monitored, constantly being assessed, constantly guided towards choices that serve the Scientology interest over her own well-being or that of her loved ones. Karen Hollander's infiltration into her life was designed to break her independence and ensure that she remained a loyal member of the organization, all while suffocating her ability to be truly herself. The toll of this constant surveillance and manipulation was immeasurable. For Lisa, even personal moments weren't personal. Exhibit A. Even personal moments were not personal. There's this woman there dressed up all in black because don't think that she was wearing her military ridiculous clown uniform. The president's office gets told, oh, no, you really don't want to stick out with your crazy military phony AF uniform. No, no, no. That's going to create bad PR. Save the phony uniform for when you're inside of the hotel. So that's when they're allowed to wear their phony military things here. They have bars, they have, all manner of flags here. They are like, oh, I'm a sir. Call me a sir, says Karen Hollander. To the kids. To the kids. That's who these women, grown women, expect to be called sir by underage kids. Grown-ass women like Karen Hollander wanted to be called sir by the Scientology kids that they were enslaving at the hotels, at the Scientology hotels. The toll of this constant surveillance on Lisa and all this manipulation is immeasurable. For Lisa, even personal moments were not personal. Scientology and its friends were always present, always poised to step in if they saw her veering off the approved path, which always resulted in her not being able to be heard, much less be able to deal with her actual trauma, as we have been discussing in this book, you guys. On and on and on. Imagine the desperation of Lisa that did sign up to do this memoir, as she did then suddenly depart Earth. But she recorded herself. She recorded herself speaking about unthinkable levels of trauma that were never taken seriously, starting from her own mother, then going into the Scientology data mining bubble that purported to be there for Lisa to really clear her traumas. But L. Ron Hubbard's audits do not clear a shred of trauma. L. Ron Hubbard audits exacerbate the trauma. That's the problem with the L. Ron Hubbard so-called technology, not theology. So for all of you that are going, but I heard it's a religion, where is the theology then? So all the people that want to keep telling us that it's a religion, show us the theology. Show us where L. Ron Hubbard used the word theology to describe his technology. Because technology and theology are not two words that are interchangeable. They couldn't be more diametrically opposed. Scientology handlers like Hollander made sure that Lisa stayed within the boundaries Scientology set for her, stripping her of her autonomy, independence, and the right to experience her life free from the organization's shadow while keeping their foot on her neck. In a world where people are entitled to their own privacy, Lisa Marie Presley was denied this most fundamental freedom. She was never allowed to feel truly alone, truly herself, or truly safe from the reach of Scientology and their handlers. Scientology, through its vast network of so-called celebrity president handlers, slowly dismantle her boundaries, creating a life where Lisa could trust no one outside her handlers, and ultimately had little power over her own world, blaming herself for all her shortcomings that were a direct result of the gaslighting she was forced to endure 24/7, 365, no less. So let Lisa's story be a cautionary tale of how Scientology invades and manipulates, preying on personal connections, family ties, and friendships to maintain control over its members. It's time to demand that the organization stops hiding behind the facade of help and friendship when their real intention is complete domination, expecting a level of subjugation that no child can ever consent to unless they were groomed to acquiesce. Lisa Marie Presley deserved to live a life that was hers alone. Instead, she was made a prisoner of the all-seeing eyes and ulterior motives of Scientology handlers, including but not limited to Karen Hollander, that can be seen right in this picture right here in the mirror, you guys. Caught by mistake. Riley just posted this photograph of what it really is to be a day in the life of Lisa Marie. Having this woman all over the place, talking to Danny, talking to the other nannies, talking to installing people all over her world. So this is what we want to respond in terms of this, you guys. Whew. Carrie Ann, thanks to people like Serge exposing this disgusting organization. And thank you for all of you guys that are here holding space, listening to Lisa's stories, um, understanding the context. It's all been made very confusing, but it's not confusing, you guys. Whatever Lisa has installed for herself, whatever she was groomed to install on herself, again, given the fact that she was a kid that grew up in Scientology, a kid that was told by her own mother, Priscilla, that this was normal, that this was going to make her very powerful. And as Lisa already said in this book, when you are a child and you're told by your parent, oh, we're going to go to this hotel and they're going to make you feel very, very powerful, all you can think of is like, well, you know, like Lisa said in this book, oh, well, I want to have power like I dream like Genie. Maybe that will then start happening at the hotel. That's how gullible, that's how naive, that's how manipulatable she would have been when she was just a kid. All Priscilla had to do was like, oh, you're going to go there and they're going to make you very powerful. That's all it took. So just really kind of keep that in mind. I just have a hard time accepting that as a badass as she was, that she couldn't get out and why she even put her kids there. I hate this cult and what they've done and those who suffer and keep suffering. Thank you, Crystal. Yeah, I mean, it's all boils down to grooming. It all boils down to acquiescing their targets. Remember, Scientology only sinks their claws into you if they are sure that you are their target, if you've been safe pointed to do that. And the easiest way that Scientology safe points kids, like in the case of Lisa, like in the case of me, like in the case of Nora, like in the case of Laura, like in the case of any Scientology child that is ended up snare here, is the fact that if your parents have already approved, have already given full consent to override your own as a child to be exposed to all the disgusting grooming courses, audits, and so-called ethics handlings that they do in there. Once they have that, then that's when a child becomes fair game. That's when a child becomes, they can do whatever to that child, and the father and the mother will always blame it back on the kid. So in a way, this gave Priscilla a way to have handlers, because we know that Priscilla was not the greatest of mother. She was not there for Lisa. She was acting always like, you know, Lisa said herself that she just felt like she was like her mother's property, that she was just being used to as, you know, as a dehumanized piece of property. And, you know, Scientology was right in there to help exploit the situation and exacerbate things more. And unfortunately, Lisa was not able to connect all of those dots, because when the grooming is done to you at such a innocent age, and the grooming involves getting told definitions that distort the way you're going to perceive any facts, you couldn't be more manipulatable or gullible. You literally become a puppet. They control you with words, with just simple words that your parent tells you, that the organization then also tells you. And they're constantly humiliating you. They're constantly degrading you. They're constantly telling you that you're deficient, that you're just a pathetic example of a person. It's always that whenever you're veering off of the so-called program. So, and again, Lisa tried to rebel to it as much as she could, but you know, by the time that even she was waking up to all of this, her her two kids had already grown up groomed in this as well. So imagine that Riley couldn't really come out of Scientology, because then if Riley comes out of Scientology, then that means that all of her friends, all the people that she's ever known her entire life, she now has to say goodbye to them. And that's what Scientology is always leveraging. It's always leveraging tit for tat, and it always puts people in such complex situations that they cannot make a move without getting a cut. So, and there is no easy way out of the entire maze of cuts, blades, and self harm that you do, the more and the longer you're exposed to it. So it is really, really, it's really, really too much, to be honest. Yeah, it's brainwashing for the adults. It's grooming that then gets passed down to the kids. Amanda, third, you're clear with what you're saying. I am learning so much from your please keep up the work. Oh, well, thank you, Amanda. We're trying to, again, you guys, this is a clear, concise, easy to understand subject. The only ones that benefit from this being made complex are the people that are okay with abusing, dehumanizing, and purporting that that's how they're saving our world. And, you know, it's incumbent upon all of us, the minute we become aware, to denounce, to repudiate, especially those of us that were forced to do this as kids, that had no right, no autonomy, no right to decide. It's this what we're advocating against, the fact that they do get unfettered access to kids. So, um, perfect. So I think we've done with all the questions. Deborah, thank you for listening. Thank you for explaining Scientology. It is horrible. It is horrible, you guys. And like I said, it needs more people understanding why it's horrible, because it's been made very confusing, like we've said. So the more the general public is aware of why it's horrible and who is in bad need of advocacy, because that's what this all boils down to. The kids that are there under our circumstances, as much as Lisa grew up in Scientology, I grew up in Scientology. Like, her mom and my mom did pretty much the same errors in their parenting, the same criminal acts in their parenting, the same grooming of their kids in their parenting. It's a horrific situation where everybody did the exact same thing, and it couldn't have been more wrong, distorted, and horrific. But it took the collective group agreement of so many parents becoming acquiesced with something that could have never been normalized with a straight face, as if this wasn't coming from a convicted felon, you guys. Because again, for the people in the back, Scientology was proposed by a full-blown convicted for fraud felon, L. Ron Hubbard. He's the one that installed all these policies. He's the one that ordered all his surrogates to follow him blindly, including you, Priscilla Presley. You were literally grabbed by John Travolta, brought to the celebrity center, brought to the president's office, told that you and your daughter were going to be made very, very powerful, and that they were going to be there to help you. Double check if that's what happened. So we are going to be discussing more about Lisa. You guys, leave your questions and comments below. Please, if you want to help us raise awareness about all the kids in Scientology that need more advocates, please follow, please subscribe, and thank you so much for joining us. And I'll see you all very, very soon.